This is the way it works. And the result is we're going to end up in a situation where millions of innocent people are killed, and we're drawn into yet more war, which will centralize yet more power in the hands of the corrupt few who run Washington today. You think about it. Obama wants to get reelected, right? Of course he does. How's he going to do it? Strike Iran before October or in October, before the election, basically, so that the people just stupidly rally around whatever current president is sitting in the White House at the moment that war is not even declared, but just enacted. Again, they'll bypass Congress. They won't even declare an act of war. They'll just start bombing these so-called enemy nations without justification. Look, enough on that. Check out that article on Infowars.com. Now, in the few minutes that we have left here, I want to comment on something that Alex posted a video over the weekend. This was a video where he went into a CVS pharmacy and he showed a brand of water called, what's the name of it? Nursery water, right? Yeah, nursery water with added fluoride in it. And he walks around the CVS pharmacy. In fact, go ahead and roll that video if you've got it, guys. I'll speak over it. He walks around the CVS pharmacy and he talks about all the toxic poison chemicals that are sold throughout the store. And here on screen, for those of you watching on Prisonplanet.tv, nursery water with fluoride added, and it says specially formulated for toddlers and babies. This is a war. It's insane. This is a war on the health of our children. And he walks around and he finds other things, you know, you versus the flu. And he talks about the total flu hoax. The truth is, if you get flu shots, your chances of actually getting the flu go up because your immune system is weakened. There it is, you versus the flu. You win with the flu shot, it says. No, you know who wins with the flu shot? Bill Gates wins. Because he's bet his money on the global depopulation agenda. And the more of you who go out there and line up and ignorantly inject yourself with flu vaccines or have your children injected with flu vaccines, the more you kill your future generations and the more people like Bill Gates, global elitists, the more they win because they rid the planet of people like you, and you're doing it to yourself. Voluntary euthanasia. That's what's going on today. A lot more ahead. Stay with us here on The Alex Jones Show. We'll be right back after these messages with more breaking news and our guest coming up at the bottom of the hour, Dale Carson. Stay with us. And we are back here on The Alex Jones Show. Thank you for joining me today. This is Mike Adams, the Health Ranger, filling in for Alex, who's on the road. I'll also be filling in next Monday, 1 week from today, when we'll be having guest Jonathan Emord. Yes, the Jonathan Emord, health freedom attorney, constitutionalist. He has a new book coming out. I believe it's called Restore the Republic. I don't have a hard copy in my hands yet, so I don't know for sure, but I think that's the name of it, Restoring the Republic. Not on sale yet, being launched in about a week. And the foreword is written by Ron Paul. And Jonathan Emord is, you know, if Ron Paul becomes president, and of course, we're all pushing for that to happen, then I think Jonathan Emord should be Attorney General. You know, I mean, he's that important for the future of our republic. Very, very important individual, and he will be on the show 1 week from today. Now, a scheduling note: we have a bit of a scheduling error with Dale Carson. He's actually going to be joining us also 1 week from today instead of today. He is the former FBI agent. I mean, it's no big deal. We've got so much news to cover here anyway. I didn't even get a chance to get to it. We've got robotic insect swarm technology coming out. We've got new news coming out about test tube hamburgers. They've succeeded in growing hamburgers in test tubes now. I'll get to that in a second. But Dale Carson's going to be joining us 1 week from today instead of today. My apologies for freaking him out. He's actually in trial right now, but he's the author of this book, Arrest Proof Yourself, which is a really great book, and it tells you how to protect your rights against police officers. Again, nothing bad against cops. In fact, you know, I used to work alongside as a volunteer, police officers in Tucson, Arizona, as part of the nonprofit Tucson Police Foundation. So I have a lot of respect for police officers who are doing their job, but some of them get a little carried away, as you have come to know here as an Alex Jones listener. And that book teaches you how to protect yourself. So We've got that coming up. We do have at the top of this hour Joe Nobody joining us. He's the author of some additional books that we'll talk about and some of his information that can help you prepare. But let's get right into the news right now. First of all, we've got Ron Paul with a new statement that just came out this weekend. Says Paul says U.S. is slipping into a fascist system. And this is a speech he gave over the weekend. He says, we slipped away from a true republic. Now we're slipping into a fascist system where it's a combination of government and big business and authoritarian rule and the suppression of the individual rights of each and every American citizen. Well, good for you, Ron. Well said. You couldn't have emphasized it anymore. That's exactly what it is. I mean, how come every presidential candidate isn't telling the truth about this? How come they aren't all talking about our loss of rights and the monstrosity that is the NDAA and the Patriot Act, for that matter, and all of these laws, so-called laws, that take away our rights? I mean, only Ron Paul is qualified to be president, in my view, because he's the only one who's willing to tell the truth about the very dangerous centralization of power in the federal government. Don't you know that that's what leads to tyranny? That's the recipe for tyranny. If you actually centralize power in the hands of anybody, any group, any gang, any corporation, any entity, it will seek to dominate and control everything in the world. That's just the nature of corporations. They want to expand. That's just the nature of military-minded dictators. They just want to expand, like Hitler and Stalin and Mao. They just want to expand and control everything. So if you do that in America, you should not be surprised if you get the same result of total, outrageous tyranny from Washington. Next story. This is one I wrote, naturalnews.com. Test tube meat is here. This was also announced over the weekend. They've been able to grow meat and fat using bovine fetal cells in a vat of liquid with circulating nutrients, and the little muscle fibers actually pulse and twitch as they're growing. And then once the growth is done, they grind them up with some other fat cells, some bovine fat cells that they have also grown using bovine fetal stem cells, and then they grind this up into a delicious hamburger patty. Hey, you want some fries with that? That sounds like a real happy meal, doesn't it? Nasty stuff. So my question about this, obviously this is being promoted as a way to save the planet. This is more environmentally friendly. You're all going to eat processed, vat-produced, scientifically generated and formulated and engineered bovine fetal stem cell cow burger patties. Get used to it. You are the new generation of Soylent Green consumers. How dare you want to eat actual beef that walked around on 4 hooves? Yeah, we'll talk about more on that story when we return here. This is Mike Adams on The Alex Jones Show. Stay with us. We'll be right back after this break. Have you ever noticed that everything they say is being introduced to save the planet is usually something that's going to kill you or gross you out? We were just talking before the break about this test tube hamburger meat that they've now successfully grown in these vats of circulating nutrients, also floating along with some bovine fetus stem cells. Yum. And they say the meat is, well, wait, here's a quote from the scientist Mark Post, who announced this. And I'm not bashing Mark Post. He's just doing his research. He probably has no idea how this is going to be used by the globalists to sicken people. But he says this year in October, we're going to provide a proof of concept showing out of stem cells we can make a product that looks, feels, and hopefully tastes like meat. That's what I thought the last time I went to McDonald's like 20 years ago. It almost looks and feels, it almost tastes like meat, but I'm not sure. Let's talk about chicken McNuggets and mechanically separated chicken. No, that would be another comedy segment. But they say this is great for the environment, all right? They say it's more efficient conversion of plants to meat in these laboratory vats. How wonderful. Less environmental damage, more humane than killing animals. And it's the only feasible way to feed the world all the meat it craves. But I say, wait a second. If they're growing this meat in vats of circulating nutrients, what do you think they're going to put in those nutrients? A little MSG to have it built into the cells so that their lab-produced meat actually tastes better so that you'll eat it They love to use MSG for that. So what about hormones to make the meat grow faster? So they can just put these bovine hormones right into the circulating fluid. I'm sure the USDA will be fine with that. And the FDA, no problem. Whatever chemicals you want to use. FDA's never met a chemical it didn't like. You know, put it in the food. Who cares? It's even probably going to go into infant formula. But what about this? What about the genetic engineering of these stem cells that are used to grow this meat? You see, I came up with the idea that eventually they would have to try to combine genetic code from different species to try to maximize this meat. So you could end up with hamburger patties that are made with partially cow or goats, or maybe insects to bind it together, like a carnauba wax type of production from those little meat strips to hold it together, you know, to bind it together. What if they put in some human genes to make sure that the meat is not doesn't cause allergic reactions in humans? So you could end up actually eating a hybrid bovine human processed meat product laced with MSG, antibiotics, and hormones. And this is called the solution. The solution. I love it when Bill Gates goes out there and says, you know, the solution is just more technology, because, you know, the pharmaceutical model has been so effective and so good. All this high technology, he calls GMOs now are called high-tech agriculture. Yeah, because technology has been so good. Just look at, well, television and nuclear power and pesticides and fluoride and aspartame. Aren't these wonderful examples of helping to save the world? Oh yeah, technology is our savior now. We don't need anything real. All right. Hey, speaking of something real, let me mention this. This is a plug for Interfood that comes from yours truly, the Health Ranger here. I gave an award to this company several years ago, and this company is a sponsor of InfoWars, so please help support this operation by checking out Interfood. They've got a special going on right now, 10% off your entire order when you use the code InfoWars, plural. InfoWars gets you 10% off the entire order. Call 866-762-9238. Ask for the Alex Jones listener discounts. This is one of the superfoods that I personally consume. In fact, I have my superfood. Let me grab it. Here it is. This is my superfood for today. I always have one of these here. People tease me about it. This is actually my berry mixture, but I also have a chocolate mixture out in the car with Interfood in it. That helps keep me focused. You know, no caffeine, anything like that. I don't even drink coffee, by the way, but it's just got all kinds of great nutrients in it. Very high-end superfood. That number again is 866-762-9238. 10% off your entire order when you use the code InfoWars. So check out Interfood, our good friends and patriots there who are making some good food for us. Now, moving on to news about food. Did you know that baby formula that's formulated with brown rice syrup as the sweetener can contain up to 3,000% more arsenic than formula without the brown rice syrup? Yes, a new study, this is out of Dartmouth College, shows that there has been alarmingly high levels of arsenic found in infant formula. One organic infant formula product that was sweetened with brown rice syrup contained 6 times the level, the limit set by the EPA for safe drinking water. And this is what parents are feeding their babies.